The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
We are joining you this morning with some major developments in the trial for the three men charged with the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. If you've been following along, you know, yesterday, one of the defendants, Travis McMichaels, took the stand, sharing what he calls his side of the story and what led up to the fatal shooting of Arbery. Take a listen at what he had to say yesterday while he was on the stand.
Today, in another high-profile trial, the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. Today, defendant Travis McMichaels broke down as he talked about the moments right before he shot Arbery 3 times and killed him.
Like a running back, like he's ready to bolt or to move any way he wanted, you know. But it was focused on me. I get to the front of the truck, and he turns. It's on me. I mean, in a flash. I mean, immediately on me.
On you doing what?
He grabs the shotgun, and I believe I was struck on that first instance that we made contact.
What were you thinking at that moment?
I was thinking of my son. It sounds weird, but that was the first thing that hit me.
What did you do?
I shot.
Why?
He had my gun. He struck me. It was obvious that he was attacking me, that if he would have got the shotgun from me, this is a life or death situation. And I'm going to have to stop him from doing this, so I shot.
Did he stop when you shot?
He did not. I shot again because I was still fighting. He was all over me. He was still all over that shotgun, and he was not relenting. So I shot again to stop him. That final shot, he disengaged. And at that point, he let go, he turned and continued to run.
Virtually the same defense as Rittenhouse's, that he fired the gun in self-defense as the victim was attacking him, going for his gun, that there was nothing else he could do.
Is it always dangerous to put your client on the stand? Absolutely. But in this situation, you have to. He's not saying I didn't do it. He's saying I was justified in doing it. And so you have to offer some evidence to support that justification. Here's citizen's arrest and self-defense. Not saying I agree, just saying there has to be some evidence. And with these facts, I don't know what you would have without his testimony.
And joining us now to discuss further is Pastor Anthony Galloway. Anthony, you know, we talk a lot about the historical context, especially when there are trials that are happening for the murder of Black men. And this defense that Travis is using is not necessarily a new one. This is something that we've heard before, oftentimes to try to get defendants off.
And I think the clip at the end kind of telling you this is the Hail Mary that they have to go to at this point, because there is no denying the fact that they created the situation in the first place. And this is the thing that's challenging for me. This is very problematic for me, largely because this speaks of the history of trying to flip and turn and use the fear for self-defense. This is what caused folks to gather into mobs and lynch folks, right? Because why we paint this picture that somehow the person who is being clearly victimized is the aggressor, is the one that was challenging. And then, you know, bringing in, I thought about my son. Well, were you thinking about that before you brought a gun into a situation and ran up on somebody in the first place, which you had no business doing, right? Even if you go along with the defense that he just gave on the stand about justifying his own action, this is coming back to the stand your ground arguments and all these other things that we've seen before. This isn't problematic because it speaks of this mental model of the scary, angry Black man. And even this is the same mental model that undergirds the Black pastor comment of the defense attorneys. And so these are the troubling patterns and the concern becomes you can't defend yourself by running away. You can't defend yourself by trying to get out of a situation. You can't defend yourself by Ahmaud Arbery saying, okay, if let me try to get myself out of this situation and still be the one that is upheld as the victim or the aggressor. We even saw, you cover the George Floyd events in the Chauvin trial, Arbery. And you saw the same defense tactic trying to somehow put the police officers who were clearly in powerful control the entire time as somehow having being a victimizer, scared for his own life there. It's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to talk more about the pastor comment. But before we get to that, when you think about Travis's testimony yesterday, it is always really risky putting a defendant on the stand. You referenced the Chauvin trial. Chauvin did not take the stand because it can be really, really risky. It can it can incriminate them if they say the wrong things. In this case, Travis shared that there had been an increase in crime in his neighborhood, and that on February 11th, he witnessed someone. He didn't see them clearly. And although he didn't catch them at that time, when he saw Ahmaud Arbery jogging through his neighborhood, he was convinced that it was the same person. And, when I hear statements like this, it's deeply concerning, because as just a civilian, a regular resident who doesn't have, training, you're not a police officer, you are making these decisions and choices to go and pursue someone and do a civil arrest without having any substantial evidence. This is just based on your own intuition. And so even in cases where we're seeing officers who use force excessively and unjustifiably, right? And these officers have years of training oftentimes, or they're going back through training and they're not getting it right. It's very dangerous when we're at this moment in our country where we need police reform, or we need a whole new system for public safety, yet and still we have citizens who aren't trained, who are taking these kinds of matters into their own hand.
It is for me, as long as the mental models that villainize Black folks and people of color and make them seem to be made to seem aggressive. This goes all the way back to Carl Linnaeus's in the 1700s, trying to scientifically classify people along racialized lines. Talks about the Afrikaners being ruled by animalistic instincts or caprice. This has been the pattern for a long time, for a lot of different reasons over time. As long as that mental model continues to persist, you'll continue to see folks try to justify creating situations for people of color, particularly Black and brown bodies, to die or be assaulted. And this, to me, is just another peg in that continued mental model that needs to be uprooted.
And when you think if Arbery were here, if Ahmaud Arbery were here, what would be his story? What would be his side of what happened? Because you have this defendant who got on the stand yesterday, Travis McMichael, who says he's acting in self-defense. But if you're jogging in your neighborhood and somebody runs up on you with a shotgun, do you not have any rights to defend yourself? And so I wish and I truly hope that those jurors are able to take what McMichael said on the stand yesterday and also think about what you would do if someone ran up on you with a gun, right? I mean, are you supposed to stand it's just, I don't see any person logically who would be in that situation who surrenders to a citizen's arrest. Because I mean, 9 times out of 10, if someone who does not have a law enforcement uniform on runs up on you with a gun, you're likely going to think they're robbing you or they're attacking you. And so I don't know if the prosecution has any plans to paint that picture and allow the jurors to have some what if moments for how Ahmaud was thinking and feeling and responding in that moment. But what do you expect from a person who is approached by 3 individuals and there's a gun? What do you expect? How do you expect the person to react to that? Because what Travis McMichael described, it sounded like Ahmaud was trying to save his own life, not attack them. Ahmaud didn't have a gun.
It's a flimsy proposition to go down the road of personal self-defense when it's a situation that you created. And as somebody who's been in a situation where a group of white guys has come run up on you and you've had to fight, I've been there. and what if you go down the road of what if that was his response to defend himself? What if that was the time he was like, not today? This is not about to happen to me again today. What if this is what if going through his mind was, here's another pattern? All of these are important and legitimate questions, but I can't stress enough. They created the situation. This is the kind of gaslighting that bullies our children in schools racially. This is the kind of gaslighting that gets folks to microaggress us into early death. This is the unfortunately in this case directly. This to me is gaslighting. You can't claim self-defense in a situation you created and you had no business being there. And it's problematic if we allow these things to continue.
And the thing I believe, Anthony, that gives people like Travis McMichael confidence to go out in the world and act in this manner is the fact that they had the protection of the DA. You had Jackie Johnson, who stepped up, who intervened, who told local law enforcement not to arrest them. And we'll see what happens in her case because she has now been charged. But I want to pivot here. I know we have Ben Dixon on with us as well, who is live outside of the courthouse this morning, because today what we're expecting to happen in outside of that courthouse is more than 200 pastors are going to gather there after the comment was made by the defense attorney that he didn't want Black pastors in the courtroom after an appearance by Jesse Jackson. Ben, do you know, I think you said that they're anticipating a lot more than 200 pastors. Yeah. Do you have any insight as to what churches might be there today?
Yes. Good morning, Georgia, and good morning, Pastor Galloway. We are here at the Brunswick County Courthouse, and we have started seeing pastors gather already. So far, they're gathering in front of the courthouse, as you can see behind me. They are coming out to make a statement for the people. And then on the south side of the courthouse, they are gathering with a large stage, a lot of seats ready for the pastors to do their prayer vigil. We are expecting over 200 pastors. Pastor Jamal Bryant from New Birth Baptist Church there in Atlanta is spearheading this, along with Reverend Al Sharpton, Benjamin Crump, and others.
No, thank you so much, Ben. And Anthony, I'd love to have you chime in here as a pastor yourself. What were you thinking when you heard the defense ask for a mistrial because of the presence of a Black pastor inside the courtroom?
So again, this continued pattern is what was going through my mind. This was the conversation of the pastors in our local areas. We were deciding how to support folks who wanted to go and be a part of this event. So they are AME pastors, Baptist pastors, Kojic pastors, all across the country who are showing up and are present right now. The thing that was going through my head mostly, though, was this continued pattern of trying to present, in particular, Black folks as threats. Somehow that our presence makes it impossible for something to get done. In this case, that's what was going through my mind. I just saw it as a continuation of what was going through Travis McMichael's mind when he rolled up on Ahmaud Arbery. So That was going through my mind. The other piece that was coming through my mind, though, was the important need to show up in solidarity. Remember, it was Black pastors who Lincoln tried to gather in order to repatriate us back to the continent of Africa, who said no, and tried to gather Black pastors again. Sherman did for the 40 acres and a mule conversation. So Black pastors represent something in this country that is a threat to white supremacy, and I think that was what was going through the minds of myself and many other Black pastors that I was talking to, in response to that. It's like, oh, no, OK, it's time to pull up and show up.
Well, and I want to go back to Ben here because I know he is live. Ben, we're talking about men of faith here who are going to be praying specifically with Ahmaud Arbery's mother, right? Helping console her and helping her get through this difficult moment. Have you been able to speak to any of the pastors and why they feel like it's so significant to be here in this moment?
I've had a chance to speak with a couple of pastors, and they are still gathering, Georgia. The sentiment is simply this, and it's really what Pastor Galloway just said. The role of the Black pastor in history has been significant, and they're showing up again to show the significance of the Black pastor, the Black church, and the Black radical tradition.
And Ben, it brings me back to this conversation you and I have all the time about Black protesting, right? When Kaepernick took a knee, oh, that's terrible. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. But then after George Floyd was murdered, we saw buildings burnt down. And then people were like, please don't do that. Take a knee if you have to, right?
That's right.
And then now we're seeing pastors who are standing in solidarity, offering, pathways for families to express themselves through their faith. Very, very peaceful way of gathering and coping with such a difficult moment. Yet and still there is a protest to this family having any ability to lean into their spirituality in this moment.
That's right, because they understand the spirituality, and Pastor Galloway can speak to this far better than I can, but the intersection of spirituality and action, faith without works is dead, according to many of the pastors that are here. And so their faith in action is to stand up for those families in real time. Besides, Georgia, what good is our faith if it's not here to serve us in some of the most difficult times that you could possibly imagine?
And why is that considered a threat?
And that's the question of the hour.
That is the question. I want to remind us that in the George Floyd case in Minnesota, we saw two clergy marches, one in Minneapolis and one in St. Paul, that garnered intersectional, interfaith, and interracial clergy from across the state. Over 200 gathered in each of those cities and marched. What it represented is the same thing it represented on Bloody Sunday at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. When you have this interfaith, it's a huge threat to business as usual that would start to address in these systems of oppression that we are talking about. That's the threat. And it's a lot harder to keep that going when you are bringing faith leaders into the mix, because now I have to question the moral compass of this, which bends towards justice. And so that is the threat to me that's coming up and being represented here.
And Ben, do you anticipate that this gathering, is it going to last the entire day, or have you gotten any insight as to how long members in the faith community will be outside the courtroom today?
You know what, to be honest with you, this is starting to have a festival style feel in terms of the number of people who are here, the amount of media that's here. I had a chance to speak with Roland Martin. Their camp is set up right here next to me. He's going to be broadcasting live from here at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So we have an expectation that this is going to be an all-day event. The prayer vigil portion of this begins at 11 o'clock in the South parking lot, and we are going to cover it from there. But George, I do expect that this is going to be going on all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And let's just be clear. The presence of a Black pastor did not qualify for a mistrial.
That's right.
But Ben, thank you so much for being there this morning. We will continue to check in with you. Is there any other updates that we should be aware of as you're there live right now?
Georgia, we're just keeping an eye on all of the action. There are quite a few police the police presence here is strong, but that's to be expected around the courthouse. We do expect everything to be pretty peaceful today, such as the presence of the Black pastor. So we're just going to be keeping an eye on all the developments.
Well, I want to take a look here, and Ben, feel free to stick around if you're able to. But today at 4 p.m. Central Time, we are expecting that Julius Jones will be executed. And this comes after more than 6 million people have signed a petition. This comes after evidence has surfaced that has caused doubt for a lot of people who worked on this case, specifically the fact that Christopher Jordan has admitted to other people that he actually was the one who killed Paul Howell. And he admitted this to 3 people who didn't know each other. Those 3 individuals came forward and they signed affidavits admitting that this was a confession that they heard. And throughout the 20 years that Julius Jones has been in jail, he has remained, he has continued to claim his innocence. I believe we have some audio on this. I want you guys to take a listen from individuals who have been advocating on this issue.
The governor there has less than 24 hours to decide the fate of Julius Jones. He was convicted of a murder in 2002, a murder he insists he did not commit. His execution scheduled for 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. The state's governor, Kevin Stitt, has the power to halt it and commute his sentence to life in prison with parole. That's the recommendation from the parole board, but on which the governor has yet to act. Jones says an acquaintance framed him in the murder of an insurance executive more than 20 years ago. The governor's mansion now surrounded by a barricade of barrels and yellow tape in preparation for protests. Some big names are calling on the governor to take action. NFL quarterback Baker Mayfield, NBA player Blake Griffin and Russell Westbrook, and Kim Kardashian West, all backing Jones. CBC's Valerie Castro now on Julius Jones' fight for his life.
The family of Julius Jones, including his mother Madeline, was left to watch the door close after a denied request to meet with Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt, the man set to decide the fate of the death row inmate. Jones was convicted in the 1999 murder of Paul Howell, shot to death in front of his daughters during a carjacking in the family's driveway. Jones maintains he had an alibi that night, speaking to the Pardon and Parole Board.
I am not the person responsible for taking Mr. Howell's life. I was not involved in the planning of this robbery. I was not present during this robbery. On social media, actor Mandy Patinkin read from a letter written by Jones's mother.
We were never given an opportunity to tell our story. The other evidence exonerating Julius was never heard by the jury.
The family of Paul Howell also testified in front of the parole board, adamant that Jones is a guilty man.
Julius Jones has taken full advantage of everyone in his life and in this situation, including you, the board members here today.
High school students staged a walkout Wednesday, making their way to the Oklahoma State Capitol, joining a rally outside the governor's office as the hours continue to count down.
We want our governor to know is that the world is watching. The world is watching. The world is watching. But also the future is watching. Yeah.
Jones claims he was set up by a high school acquaintance who planted the murder weapon in his home. That person was sentenced to life for his role in the crime, but was released early as part of a plea agreement to testify against Jones. The governor is reportedly praying about this decision.
Now, Anthony, in this case, the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board did vote 3-1 on November 1st to commute Jones. And so the decision rests solely on Governor Stitt, and he has been radio silenced this entire time. And the family, I think, is losing hope that he is going to intervene and do something before his 4 p.m. execution.
This is a very difficult one. I've been in the support role for folks who have tried to advocate and work with the legal system that doesn't seem to want to listen. And time often ends up being the thing that helps us to get clarity. And we seem to be ignoring that impulse. Even the parole board is seeing that impulse, saying, you know what, if we've got this much evidence to the contrary, why don't we take some time and move to life without parole? And so that we don't make the mistake. I mean, and I understand some of the prevailing winds here. Folks in the country, and I've actually walked into and heard this directly from folks in communities that I've talked to. Folks feel like justice is not going in their favor for those who want business as usual and want scary black men killed and put in locked in jail, and justice to them makes me feel like this bad guy's going to get it, regardless of whether or not we actually have the evidence that this is really the bad guy. And so I feel like there's folks who feel like they're losing these battles. The Chauvin trial represents a loss to certain folks. And so regardless of the evidence or the clear thinking of let's take our time and get this right, folks want to win in the other column because justice has been seemingly winning to groups of folks. And so it struck me to see the family calling for the death. When the other option that's here is still life without parole, at least according to the legal space for where they're at, let alone, what may come when we find out more evidence. Let's not forget we have many examples of wrongful death with the death penalty. And so to me, it's a no brainer, but the governor has to take a political calculation. If he intervenes here and seems to be lenient, he's got to contend with the folks who will count that as another loss to white centrality in the United States. These are some of the issues that are kind of at play here. I think this is not just a spiritual decision by the governor. I think this is absolutely a political one that is having conflict. And so in that space, silence makes sense to me.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there was evidence that was recovered that, allows the family to continue to say that these rallies and protests for Julius makes them feel re-victimized. There was a gun with a red bandana wrapped around it, which is what the suspect wore when they fatally shot Paul, right? And that they said that they found that in Julius's home. However, what was also said and determined is that Christopher Jordan stayed at Julius's house the day after the murder. And so when you have three people who have signed an affidavit saying that Jordan is the one who admitted and actually said that he framed Julius, right? Anytime, and think about this system, is this spiritual? Is it political? Or should we really be leaning into the way our criminal justice system is designed to work? Because the last time I checked, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty without the shadow of a doubt. And now, because of these affidavits that have been signed, sworn testimony by three separate people saying that Julius did not do it, that he was set up. Is that not merit a retrial? Especially when you look back in the 90s and the technology that they had to go through evidence. We have had significant advancements in our technology. And so they could go through and do DNA testing on the gun, do DNA testing on that bandana, and truly determine whether or not this death sentence is merited for Julius. But even looking at the parole board, 3-1, November 1st. Why is Julius still sitting in jail?
And, you're talking to somebody who does not support the death penalty in any way, shape or form. As much as hard as that may seem, if I'm, in the pro-life argument, you can't be for it on one end of the spectrum and not on the other. And so, for me, it's a no-brainer to take death off the table, especially when you have those contentions there. But there's something in here around the plea. I've had a lot of young men who have come through our programs and come through our programming that have been pressured to take plea deals, that if they actually could afford the kind of defense, quality defense that we would wish anybody would have, then they would have never taken those pleas. And oftentimes it's presented as a way to get out or avoid some of these harsher things. And so the plea deal that was taken by, as you brought up, the other folks who were suspects and possibly involved in the framing, that plea that I'm going to take this plea so that I get off the hook, but then it puts somebody else in a hot seat, whether or not the evidence really lines up for them. This is a problem. And folks who resist pleas like this in many cases are often punished or put higher pressure on you. You're told it's going to be worse for you if you don't plea out to something lesser or come and enter a guilty plea or something like that. This has been used to get a whole lot of folks, young folks in jail where the evidence doesn't back it up. And so for many of us watching this, that situation is not new. And talk about re-traumatizing and facing that again. And so I think that's also in the mix as we talk about this.
Absolutely. Well, we are on the clock. I encourage you to stick around. We are live outside of Brunswick, Georgia, the courtroom where 3 men are being charged with the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. And Ben Dixon is there. He is going to be talking to pastors who are gathering there outside the courtroom in solidarity with the family after the defense asked for a mistrial because of the simple presence of a Black pastor and a civil rights icon. So you definitely want to stick around. That's coming up and more right here on the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Good morning, people. Y'all know who it is. Y'all know the voice. Y'all know the sound. It's your boy James Williams, DJ Exclusive in the building. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We got one coming up next on the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Little baddie, cashing big checks. I bought the whole block out. Now that's a big flex.
No, sir, it is.
Peeping out my Uber window like what's next. Got new levels and new devils out the wazoo. Ain't no worries, life gets better when you find you. And if you mind you, peace will abide and hide you
until it's time to start a Pastor Anthony Galloway, man. Good to see y'all as usual.
Who brought the bad vibes? Tell that bitch move. Walking all in my ear, now that's a bitch move. Press that I arrive.
Laura Strada, KFC, Jeremiah, Lily. Promises manifested. Showsty, what's going on? Tiger, what's going on, Tiger? Bunny Rabbit, I'm so high. Okay, buddy. Juanita, good morning. Jonathan, Esther, on it goes. Nicholas, good morning. Movie. Hey, Lou, good morning. Shay, good morning to you. Sophia Williams, good morning.
And soon you will find a pretty soul that needs more shine.
Waterstones, good morning. Kareem Ransom, good morning. Courtney the SLP, good morning to you. You still sounding loud today?
1, 2, mean right hook.
Okay. Marsha Reese, good morning. Miss Nuru, Silk City Socialist. Neil Potts, Christopher Shaw, good morning. Vincent, Melanie Dennis, Esther Brochin, Shelby Hall, Nat. Hey, what's going on, sister? Afraid not to move. S. Tickles. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Make sure you get your coffee, your tea, your drinks, whatever it is you need to get your morning started, y'all. Y'all stay tuned. We got one coming up next on the Benjamin Dixon Show. And also that means Benjamin Dixon can't come through. Y'all get 30 minutes of yours.
I put the work in. Now I got the big bags that you call Perkins.
Yeah.
My world has come together. And maybe
Iris, good morning. Chris, good morning. Truth the Dragon, good morning, Miss Guru. Six Dragon Daddy Lee, what's going on, brother? Good morning. AB the truth teller. AB the truth teller. Good morning. I almost messed it up.
I got an appetite. Let's bake ourselves a treat. What you've been mixing, serve it up the way you please. I love the way you shake, you stir, you heat, you squeeze. So thick. Push up and butter me. So move that, push that, shake that, smack that, mix that up, that marinate that.
That's right, y'all. Bubba is at the helm this morning. Brother Chuck Diesel, good morning.
Baby, pour that sweet on me. Baby, shade up. We
Becky B.
can cook up, we can syrup when we hook up, just you and me. With that cream, with that. Preheat this oven up like 5,000 degrees. It's almost ready, we've been craving it all week. Baby, you want it, I got it. I'm hooked on you like phonics. Gotta be honest, you're on it. And this ain't no time to be modest.
One Source Production, what's going on? Mark S, what's going on, brother? Good morning, y'all.
With that cream, baby, pour that sweet on me. Baby, shade it. We can cook up, we can stir up when we hook up, just you and me. With that cream, with that shade.
Lily, very slow, Lily. Very, very slow. We know we're going to get there. We're going to get to it. Brother Bryce, good morning.
We can cook up, we can stir up when we hook up.
Chuck Diesel. Exit Youngblood, please, sir. Michael 147, good morning to you. That's right, y'all. Y'all are rocking with the Bubba Show this morning. Good morning.
Take it to the bank, now I'm winning. Oh. Call me crazy, tell me lies. It won't stop me, watch me rise. No more anchors holding me down. All I need is more. One more hour, one more minute.
DB, good morning. You better twirl away. I see you.
Every time I dream, I catch it. I know how to make it happen. Climbing every mountain. Keep both eyes on the top. And nothing's gonna tell me to stop. Oh, push me through the fire. All I'm gonna feel is the heat burning underneath of my feet. Ooh, she call me crazy.
Y'all know what I say. If we have trolls, that means that we have pride. That's
no more anchors holding me down. All I need is more.
Jonathan, I appreciate you. That's sir. Wake and make for me, okay? Take the extra puff. This for me, okay?
Every time I drink, I catch it. I know how to make it happen.
Shout out to everybody over at Act TV that's checking us out on my Twitch, man. Good morning, y'all. On and on it goes. Good morning. Shout out to everybody that's on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you checking in from. Good morning. Juanita, this song is called More About Funk Aesthetics. More About Funk Aesthetics. Featuring John Brown.
All I need is more.
Brother Tyler, what's going on, Brother Tyler? Good morning, Barbara. On and on. I'm pleasant, Juanita. Infinite content. Good morning, brother. What's going on? Just want you and Rebecca to know that little school of y'all that's on top of that there hill. They're going down this weekend, so better know that.
We can take my Lambo. I'll put on a tight show.
Come on, we can take my Lambo.
Sure you can handle.
I ain't got no Lambo. I got a Lamborghini. Can't stop, won't stop. I can't stop, won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Can't stop. Ryan, what's going on? Good morning to you. Promises manifesting. Good morning.
Can't stop, won't stop. Can't stop.
Oh, Sammy Lynn the Kind Dragon says, unrelated fact, he called my littlest Bubba because that's what he called bottles. That is adorable. Sammy Lynn, I appreciate you. Hey, little Bubba. That's what we say, baby Bubba. Oh, I get the full screen treatment. Y'all get to see my big ass face in the screen. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, y'all. Make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more coming up next on Benjamin Dixon. So that's why I call this the Butterfly Dixon Show. Okay. Rosie B, good morning. Kareem, PX, good morning. Patty B.
Can't stop.
Hey, this song is called Can't Stop, Won't Stop, My Magnetism. Tiger chat, hell up. Get out of here. Get on my chat room. Tiger says, where do cows go on a date? Where do cows go on a date? To the movie. I'm sorry, Testicle said that. Testicles. Amber Layla, good morning. Good morning, Mama and Daddy. They are in the chat room. Good morning. I love y'all. Mean it. Environmental Coffee House, what's going on?
It's all a bluff. It's all a bluff. It's all a bluff.
Hey, be the truth teller. I am so damn. I've been trying to get the DC phone, so I'm down.
I've been thinking, 'cause I don't wanna waste my precious time. Always looking for the next best thing. Do it on your own this time around. So all you lucky ones, what up? You're always on the run, what up? I mean, don't get me wrong, but what up? Or was I not the one you dreamt of? No, 'cause the life we live one
Sonny Wright, good morning.
Why don't you stop for a minute? Just relax yourself. This moment will never come back.
Bobby, that sounds about right when I get my new phone. Good morning, everybody, man. Make sure that y'all stay tuned. We got more coming up next on the Benjamin Dixon Show. But right now, it's your boy DJ Exclusive.
It's
Sticks and stones may break my bones.
Good morning, Q.
Me.
Love you, mean it. Good morning to you.
No, I ain't been right more than I've been wrong, and it still can't hurt me. No, it just can't hurt me. No. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, no, no. I know it's hard to be polite, and it's easy being petty. My mama used to tell me not to use you when you ready. Man, it's crazy how my brother said it could have been my cell. It's either prison or a grave. That's when everybody tell me, man, life ain't a beach, it's a female dog. I'm staying 10 toes down, though I still might fall. Oh yeah, now I done came through, knocking pictures off your walls. Loving people who persecute you, it's still a tough life. On my path and a lamp under my feet. I know my faith strong, but my flesh still kinda weak. When that victory be looking like the verge of defeat, and I feel that disrespect, help me turn my other cheek and say sticks and stones may break my bone, but you words can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, I ain't been right more than I've been wrong, and it still can't hurt me. No, it just can't hurt me. No. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, no, no. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No. See, it's hard to be polite. It's easy being petty. Mama used to tell me, gotta use you.
Y'all, I forgot to tell y'all, I met Tom Hanks once. Yes, I did. I met Tom Hanks. He said he was rude as hell, though. He was just so rude. I asked for an autograph, and all he wrote was thanks.
So be a light up on my path and a lamp under my feet. I know my faith strong, but my flesh still kinda weak. When that victory be looking like the verge of defeat,
so many people here. Watch what I say.
Turn my other cheek and say sticks and stones may break my bone, but your words can't hurt me.
Oh, y'all get it now, don't y'all?
I've been right more than I've been wrong, and it still can't hurt me. No, it just can't hurt me. No.
Hey, y'all, also, I learned how to use disposable masks, like coffee masks or filters to brew espresso. I learned to use disposable masks to brew espresso because they're coffee filters. Coffee filters? Today in the background talking about they might shut this channel down. Man, go to hell today.
It was just a misunderstanding.
Y'all know I ain't got no damn sense, man. Y'all leave me alone. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Our sister from another mister be joining us soon. Okay. This is the last one. This is for my nerds out there. This is good for the nerds. How did Bilbo survive the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy? How did Bilbo survive the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy? Because all hobbits die hard.
I meant everything I said. You don't have to search no more.
Laura Strada, good morning.
You don't have to prove us to anyone. You don't need to worry. Go down low, seven.
All right, y'all. Well, we got our little Caribbean vibe going on. Jamaica, December, yay. All right, new patrons. We have Alex Z and Mark S, our new patrons. New Twitch subscribers. We have the Chicken Fried Dragon, who gifted a subscription to Carpe Packs and Antisocial Communists. We have Cluminani017, who resubscribed with Prime and commented, for the culture. That's right, for the culture. We appreciate you. Class Storm resubscribed. Andy from Ohio resubscribed. Hey, Andy. And said, hello. Miss you, Andy. Love you. Mimosa Dragon resubscribed and commented, good morning, everyone. And they have been subscribed for over 10 months. I feel you, Mimosa Dragon. Love you, mean it. Fellow content creator at ActTV, James from the internet, resubscribed and commented, well, what about her free speech? Her free speech? I gotta find out what it means, but free speech, yeah. And also, an anonymous user gifted a subscription to Neon Death 07. So, anonymous user, we greatly appreciate you, man. We appreciate everybody, man. And if you want to as well, patreon.com/likeItOrNot, patreon.com/likeItOrNot, or patreon.com/the BPD show, so you can get exclusive content, laugh at my silly ass, get patron party access, all that good stuff, man. So make sure that you're going to take your ass down over there and get on that Patreon. You don't want to miss it. Miss all this. This next patron party next week, if I'm not mistaken. Next patron party is next Friday. We're going to see what we're going to... Oh, is that Black Friday? I think it is. We'll have to see about that. Well, y'all stay tuned and we'll keep you posted, all right? Here's another banger for y'all. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all light them up, light them up. Shout out to Brother Ben, who's out there doing the work, man. We appreciate you, brother. I'll be looking for you on the TV today. Lunch break hot take. Good morning to you. Susan, good morning.
Look, I'm in line with the stars, I'm in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'm a ride for the squad, let our ties in the hearse. I've been on the vibe, kinda hard to describe. I'm in between, I'm good and it's fine, but I'm tired of the grind. Then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time.
Good morning.
I never so packed for the stack, never lied on the rap. Got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking Tyson, through that I survived, doing 80 to the house, then I hit it to the sky. Change haters on the tideway, talking to the crib in the face, be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all with the same, we all want a meal in the safe. I wanna live like I'm trying to reach enlightenment. Girl spill from my lips, feel big from the bip. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grit, but it don't make sense. Cause you can lose life on this fast ride. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beast with the slap, pin myself on the map. You long with the wind, but we knowing that it's cap. 5-hour flights, couple nights at the flat. To be real, couldn't see me making moves while I'm at. I'm still on the grind, limit time when I chat. Burn it down, sage, keep the demons away. When I write it, give a piece of myself to the page. I don't do it for the praise, love, that's just how I'm made.
Truth in the glass in the mirror. Yeah. Do it at me, old man, tryna pass in the fear. You're the first one to talk, but the last one to hear. Eyes blurry, but I couldn't see that.
I appreciate you.
Start to feel like I'm on one. Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash, got snakes in the grass, no brakes on the end. But
Shoot the Dragon, that's a good one. Real quick, y'all, real quick. Shoot the Dragon said, what is black and rhymes with Snoop? What is black and rhymes with Snoop? Answer, Dr. Dre. These are facts.
Hear him talking, they ain't right enough, tighten up. Everything that I came for, I left it. I don't bang sets, I just bang on the set list. Going past up where I came for the breakfast.
If I little coffee house right, I'm that number one kind of snuggy teddy bear kind of thing.
Gold in my soul, got the same on the necklace.
Say that's absolutely right. It's a mini patron party with non-copyrighted music. Hey, a man walks into the doctor's office all panicked. Doctor, I'm shrinking. What's going on? Help me. The doctor replies, well, sir, you're going to have to learn to be a little patient. A little damn patient like Ben. Shout out to my brother, man, from another mother. on location. Let's go to Ben for a second, man. Let's bring Ben on. Ben, are you there? Can you hear me, sir?
Hey. Good morning. Testing 1, 2, DJ Exclusive. How's it going, man? I'm live outside of the courtroom. I see you guys are still holding it down on the show this morning. How's it going?
It's going good, sir. You ain't called me. I would have pulled up, Ben. I would have pulled the hell up, DJ equipment and all. I would have been right there by your side.
Man, Brunswick is about 5 hours from where you are, brother. It was only 30 minutes from where I was, so I wanted to make sure I came here and represented. We're going to be speaking with various pastors as they come through the day, and we even have Savannah State journalism students here. They're out here doing some great work, so we're going to bring them in to say hello during Like It or Not. DJ Exclusive, it's in your hands.
Appreciate you, brother Ben. Man, it looks damn good out there, bro. You looking good as well, too, man. Appreciate you. Got some journalism thing going on, bro. I'll be so proud of y'all. Y'all be making me cry. Oh, God. I love it, man. Do your thing out there, brother Ben, and please be safe, man. Please be safe. They start acting crazy, let me know. I'll get down there in 3 hours. 5-hour trip is only 2 hours for me. Y'all stay tuned. Like It or Not, it's coming up next, y'all.
In the back of my mind, there's someone waiting on me. You're just wasting my time because you're scared and lonely. Finally got some closure. Yeah, I can finally start over. Yeah, so all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly. I'm too fly. Bye-bye. 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 Here's to the memories. Cheers to used to be.
Marquez, I can't stand you.
Your friend said that you left me.
Goku, well, they ain't got no Bentley.
All my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right. Put your finger right in his face.
Oh, Sophia Williams, I spoke you. Our whole ass said, good morning, Miss Sophia. You just missed it, but thank you for your super chat. She said, I'm very emotionally distraught that you didn't speak to me like you normally do. You're still my hubby in my head. You have to do better, sir. Hey, Miss Sophia. I love you. I mean it. Good morning.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Melody Dennis, good morning.
Time goes by and I wonder, are you and me still the
Why the
same?
hell for being in my ear? Cause I can't stand being.
You cast your spell and I went under. I know the laughter.
Oh my God, Ben.
Will I ever love
Okay, it's not appropriate, bro.
I don't know if I can take it anymore. So I stay here.
Ben said
when you walk out the door.
the music that we played is not making him wanna be out there at the trial. He's making him wanna twerk. So like, bro.
No one knows what I've been through.
Oh man, keep it together, Ben. Keep it together. You know I got you. Sandy, thank you for your super chat. Sandy says, thanks, Ben, for pulling up. Stay safe. Thank you for your super chat. We greatly appreciate you. I appreciate that. She said 5.
What can we just get ourselves? You cast your spell and now we're under. I know the laughter and the pain. Will I ever love again? I don't know.
What the hell? All right, y'all. Since I got it and it is Thursday, here's a throwback jam. Copyright that is. Throwback Thursday. Let's get it. Y'all turn up Chuck Diesel. Go ahead and break your furniture, sir. It's okay.
But she look good. You ain't gotta stand in the mirror with your makeup on, cause you know that take way too long. I just want that right too long. Get it, girl, you know I'm impatient. Don't keep a nigga wait. Girl, it's been too long. You know what I've been craving. Girl, I'm tryna taste it. You know what I like. Don't to get freaky in the night. When she hit the room, you know it's on sight. And she all on my type. And you know I don't like to wait, no.
Oh, if you feel so inclined, this is a mini patron party. Y'all go ahead and tip your DJ, man. Tip your DJ, DJ X3C. Let's get it, let's go.
I just want that right now. Girl, you Uber outside. I can't wait just to get this on it. You want it right now. Want it right now. Don't take too long. Want it, yeah. You want it right now. Want it right now. Don't take too long. Don't take too long. I've been waiting on you to pull up. Girl, I know you got a man, but he can stay at home. He don't need to be around when I'm taking you down. Damn, that drink too strong. We could roll up. Now, baby, just hold up. Say you got a friend, bring it in. We can do what you wanna. I know you need it. Not to sound conceited, but girl, I complete you. I don't wanna wipe you up, no. But she look good. You ain't gotta stand in the mirror with your makeup on, cause you know that take way too long. I just want that right now. Girl, you Uber outside. I can't wait just to get this on it. You want it right now. Want it right now. Don't take too long. Want it, yeah. You want it right now. Want it right now. Don't take too long.
Another throwback jam for y'all.
Tryna play me, telling me I'm crazy, tryna prove me wrong in every fight, knowing that I'm right. Why you tryna wreck me? Always wanna check me, wanna call me out in front of friends. Careful where you tread before this ends. You love me and I love you, but butting heads is what we do. Bullheaded, stubborn, wild, crazy lovers. You love me and I love you. Why can't we just match the two? Why we get so mean? Light the match, I'm kerosene. We're fire. Oh, baby, we're fire.
Right.
We're fire.
Chuck Diesel, right, man. This is y'all song.
We're fire. Say you love me and I love you, but butting heads is what we do. Bullheaded, stubborn, wild, crazy lovers. You love me and I love you. Why can't we?
What's up, sir?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Bring the music down a little bit. You've been playing nonstop for the last half hour?
Yeah.
Y'all go ahead and bless the DJ. Cash App, DJ X3C. This brother's been putting in the work while we're on location. The only way we're able to bring you this type of coverage is because we have a team back at the studios making it happen. Good morning and special shout out to Georgia Fort, Rebecca Azor, David, Babatunde, DJ X3C making all this happening. Cash App, DJ X3C. We'll be back with Like It or Not in a few minutes.
My brother from another mother. Shout out, brother Ben, man. I love to see this stuff, boy. Woo.
I never lie. Why you tryna play me? Tell me that I'm crazy. Tryna prove me wrong in every
Bunny Rabbit, he is at Brunswick, Georgia, outside of Arbery trial right now.
You always wanna check me. Wanna call me out in front of friends. Careful where you tread before this ends. You love me and I love you, but butting heads is what we do. Bullheaded, stubborn, wild, crazy lovers. You love me and I love you. Why can't we just match?
Lipsa, good morning.
Why we get so mean, like the match I'm kerosene.
We've been fighting every day now. It's hard to breathe, yeah, I think you need to break down. I don't know what to say.
Industrial Loss, what's going on, brother? Good morning to you.
This don't feel right. You be going through my phone like trying to find something while you don't trust me. I got this feeling I'll be much better on my own now. There you go with apologies. It's alright. You don't mean it, and I don't wanna try no more now. It's too late. I don't wanna hear you say I'm sorry. It's too late. I don't wanna hear no more excuses. It's alright. See, I'm a walk away.
so much. I appreciate y'all.
Baby, you don't wanna act right. Give your chance after chance and you blew it. All you wanna do is pick a fight.
Man, I really can do this like all day long. I love this.
Man, always seeing what I don't do. Give you everything I had till it ain't
Today, you see him too today?
I'll be much better on my own.
Being going 100 miles a minute was typing, looking around, and doing everything. Like, damn, that man on it. LD, I appreciate you. Good morning to you.
I don't wanna hear you say you're sorry. It's too late. I don't wanna hear no more excuses.
Maureen Weber, good morning, Maureen.
See, I'ma walk away 'cause I'd rather be alone now.
Lily, love you too. Ill Hustler, good morning, Ill Hustler. Kareem, you saw them little fingers was gone, wasn't they?
Looking at me that way, I know what you're thinking. You mad, wanna leave, don't walk out. Round and round we go.
Maureen Weber, I did. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate you.
Hard to stay, but think about everything that we have now. Yeah. Baby, it's too much to lose. Right now it's hard to see.
Ear Hustler, shout out to you, Ear Hustler. We are love, light, and prayers. Anything that we can do, let us know, all right? You mean it. Y'all please show Ear Hustle some love in the chat room. Lost their father yesterday, so please show some love in the chat room. Another throwback jam for y'all. Then we're gonna get the show started here.
I walked through the fire and it couldn't even hurt me. There's a lot of demons out here trying to deter me. Personally, time wasters are unworthy. So I tell them cut it out like surgery. Kings don't deal with peasants. I will, but I am legend. Jehovah dropping but my foot on the pedal. I will have a statue erected of me stabbing a sword through the neck of the devil. Diamonds around the bezel. Tesla Model S and no, it's not a rental. Fresh like Wendy's lettuce, dripping, so torrential. One flick of the wrist, make it feel elemental. I was always meant for greater things.
Actually, David, this is old. This is season 1. Pre-season 1.
It was no accident. It was no mistake. I was born to be great, born to spit flame, born to acquire the fortune and fame. This was no mistake. This was no accident. As a prince, I was passionate. Life was an action flick, and now my castle extravagant. You see this crown? Hey, they calling me king now. They calling me king now. But this what I've been about. You see this crown? They calling me king now.
That's right now, Eddie. What you say? They calling me queen now. You better do that, girl.
I think I'm the chosen one. All my dreams are coming real. I'm just like a frozen sun. This fire might give you chills. I think I'm the I know I'm the chosen one. Just like James Bond with the golden gun. All of my concubines know what's up. They think I'm amazing. They think that I saved them. And when I lay it down, they all get elated. And they never link, so there's never no babies. But when I make them, people gon' praise them. I want a little prince and a princess.
Today, do we have my sister in there? She's ready to go.
They can get their chin checked. They don't want to smoke, not even incense.
All right.
It was no accident. It was no mistake. I was born to be great, born to spit flame.
Peter Griffin, yes, Wheel of Time. Man, oh my gosh, I gotta go to a wedding tomorrow, but yes, Wheel of Time.
As a prince, I was passionate. Life was an action flick, and now my castle extravagant. You see this crown? Yeah, they calling me king now. They calling me king now. But this what I've been about. You see this crown? They calling me king now.
Watch this juxtaposition. Y'all ready?
Yeah, they call me king. Calling me king now. They calling me king now. But this what I've been about.
Get your coffee, your tea, drink whatever it is you need. It's time for Like It or Not, y'all. 9 a.m. to 10:30, yeah. Like It or Not is on your channel, yeah. Politics and culture ish, we change skin like we're supposed to, yeah. Interviews and all the news, we get to choose what gets the views. Like It or Not with Queen Azor, it's starting now, so stick around.
Like it or not. One day I'm gonna do a live version for y'all. Just put the track on and just sing the hell out of this.
Rebecca's on, it's coming through. You know she got a
Caitlin, good morning.
Story for you. Oh, Benjamin, that's my dog.
Mary Smith, good morning.
This is his show. He's a politics bro. I'm your DJ. DJ exclusive. Y'all know who I am.
Thank y'all for rocking with me.
Stay up to them jams.
I appreciate y'all. I love y'all so much.
Like it or not.
Thank y'all for the tips, man. Like It or Not is about to go down. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned.
Y'all stick around. Oh, like it or not.
Yeah, I heard the peloton. Good morning, everybody. Like It or Not. It's about today. Rebecca Azor, I hope you're ready. Let's get it, girl. To go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Who doesn't like it? I'm good. I'm good. Strung up. I'm high off Mountain Dew. No, I'm just playing. Live coffee. How you doing this morning?
Might really be on Mountain Dew. You might really be on the dew of the Mountain Dew.
See, this is what happened when y'all let me be by myself for 30 minutes.
Listen, I mean, I like that. I hope the audience enjoyed that because that's what you can get when you come to the patron parties. Okay.
Hello. Okay.
Listen.
And more with real music.
And more with actual real music. Not the ones, I mean, that we absolutely love.
It's real music. It's real music.
Wait. I mean, okay. See, no. This is what I talk about. Ben, nobody asked you to say anything. You need to be led.
Where the hell he came from?
That's the part of the that's just. See, that's why I don't like.
They can't hear Rebecca. They saying they can't hear Rebecca. Okay, cool. Okay.
They can't hear Rebecca.
So the whole time you guys couldn't hear me?
So no one heard her say good morning or anything?
Good morning, and welcome to Like It or Not.
No, Ben, you no.
Ben, you're out there. Just stay out there.
Thank you, David.
Well, they didn't hear
Stay
you.
outside.
That's okay.
They didn't hear you, so that means we need to do it.
No, yes, we need to do it. That doesn't mean that you do all three parts.
And came in the middle.
I'm like, when the hell you started saying good morning? And then welcome to life.
Oh, goodness.
When the hell that happened?
Goodness.
See?
I can't get no respect.
Anywho,
I can't get no respect around here.
Then just want to go outside and they always act up.
Every time. But Ben does this every time. But anywho, now Ben is outside because he's been in the house all day, for like God knows how long. But Ben, let the people know where you are, what you're doing, how you doing.
Good morning, Rebecca. Good morning, DJ Exclusive. We are live at the Glenn County Courthouse where the trial, the McMichael trial is going on in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. We are here live speaking with pastors and different people from the community. And in a moment, Rebecca, we're going to be speaking with Savannah State journalism students. It's about 20 of them that came down to cover this trial. All, predominantly Black school. They're here representing hard on the independent journalism tip. So we're going to be speaking with them momentarily.
That is amazing. And thank you, Ben, for being out there to be on the ground to get that story. Honestly, what do you expect to hear from the students, first of all?
I'm excited to see the students out here. They're covering it from, I'm listening to their questions. They're being as objective as they can. But, when you talk to them on the side, they want to see some justice. They're here fighting for justice, just like the rest of us. Absolutely.
What do you think today's trial?
And we're also speaking with the pastors. Mm-hmm. Well, all the pastors are coming today. Pastor Jamal Bryant from New Birth in Atlanta, Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump. They are organizing about 200. We're expecting maybe 300 pastors to show up around 11 o'clock. And they have on the south side of the courthouse an entire stage set up. So we'll be shifting over there to catch the 11 o'clock event that's happening just outside the courthouse.
And what's that event at 11 o'clock?
That is I'm putting in air quotes, the prayer vigil. But you do know with a big stage like that and all those Black pastors, I'm sure there's going to be music and everything else. But they're having a quote unquote prayer vigil in response to the defense attorney saying that they did not want any more Black pastors. Now about 200 to 300 are about to show up at 11 o'clock.
That's a word. That's a word. And I felt that in my shanana. We've seen during this trial, we've seen clips during this trial of, there's being an issue, with the Black pastors being in the room. And this right here, I like when we have solidarity. I love when Black folk, and we come out here and we show that there are strength in numbers. And no matter how many Black pastors are in the room, no matter how many Black pastors support this, it's going to be up to the justice system to get it right.
That's right.
But there will always be solidarity amongst us. Get it clear.
That's right.
But Ben, I'm so happy that you're out there. Can we expect to get some live footage possibly? I mean, it's like it or not. I mean, it's the best.
Yeah, like it or not. We'll be speaking. So, I'll be jumping in as I grab people. I'll be hollering at our producers, but we're following your lead, Rebecca. And yeah, like it or not, it's going down.
Yeah, it's going down like it. Thank you so much, Ben. We will be tuning in with you again a little later in the show. You guys send Ben some love. Make sure you guys are tweeting at him for updates and follow-ups. And as this continues to develop while Ben is out there, we'll be on it. Love you, mean it, Ben.
Love you, mean it. See y'all in a few.
Crazy sometimes to see Ben grow up like that.
Look at him. He's so big.
He's just out here just doing what needs to be done. And I love it. I love it. Yeah, he gonna work on it. He gonna work on it. It's what we call, he's a one-man band. That's what we're calling it right now. He's out there. He got the that's what we call it in journalism. You got your camera, he's out there like he got a whole bunch of production crew with him. He does not. But it has been out there doing what needs to be done
just
on the
ground.
Out there. Yeah, one man band. But then that's what we call it. That's one of the things in journalism that you.
Why you gotta put me out there like that, Rebecca?
Then
you gotta put all of our business out there.
Weren't you at the tree?
Right.
It's all walking distance, my dear.
I forgot that y'all are in the same Zoom so you can see what he doing, Rebecca.
That man skipped right back over to the camera. But anywho, Ben, you could take out the earpiece and have a breather for a moment. Let us do the show. But at this moment, you guys, there's so much other news that we will cover in light of, as well of the Arbery case. We know that there are these defendants, right? They're going crazy. These white defendants are going crazy. And it's crazy how we get to really sit here and look at these cases, right? For the two men who murdered Ahmaud. And then we have the other case with Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't know, Rottenhouse. I don't really know. But we have this case as well, the Rittenhouse case. And with the same kind of mess happening in that courthouse with the judge. You know how we were saying, you know, when the pandemic showed us, and I don't think it was really the pandemic. I think it was Donald Trump's presidency that showed us that these people who are in leadership over our judicial system have now proudly put back on their hoods and sat in these seats. That is what's crazy. They've just been wearing the uniforms. Now they're able, and except for this particular judge in the Rittenhouse case, we can see there's favoritism. We can see there's some kind of issue that he has. Racism. Straight up racism. We can see that there's an issue that he has with Black people. I know that we're going to go a little bit out of order here, but I want to take it to the Rittenhouse. I want to take it to the Rittenhouse video of the judge talking about Blacks being in the courtroom.
I'm now reading about how bizarre and unusual it was to have the defendant pick the numbers out of the tumbler yesterday. And I would admit that I don't know that there's a large number of courts that do that, maybe not any. I do it because of an incident that I had in a case I tried in Racine. Oh, I'm going to say I estimated 20 years ago it could have been less than that, it could have been more. But it was a big case. I think it was a murder case, but I'm not sure. And there was a Black defendant, and there were 13 jurors, one of whom was Black. And when the clerk, the government official, drew the name out of the tumbler, it was a Black, the only Black. There was nothing wrong with it. It was all okay. But what do they talk about? Optics nowadays? Is that the word for things? That was a bad optic, I thought. I think people feel better when they have control. So ever since that case, I have, ever since that case, I've had an almost universal policy of having the defendant do the picks. It had nothing to do with anybody's race or anything like that.
When it was at that moment, he knew he effed up.
Yeah. Yes. It's exactly.
It was a Black.
Yes. The Black, the only Black. Okay.
Black
so listen, no. This is the Black. When we say we say a Black, the Black, the only Black, it's a Black person. So
you might as well be using the N-word.
And it's funny. And it's funny when we hear that from a white person, we know what they're talking about. Now, you know, when we say it might be a Black mile, might be Black, you know what I'm saying? But anywho, you know, it could be a lot of things. But I'm going to get to the judge in a second, but I want you to see, as the judge is speaking here, how Kyle is seemingly making himself look very meek, very young, and very, you know, like, oh my God, look at him. He's looking like a sad little baby, you know, as his father is speaking in defense of him. And they were talking about the judge, and we're talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, the murderer. And as we watch this, and it's funny because in another clip, when he's saying this, after he finishes his statement about the Black, a Black, the only Black, he starts almost patronizing this whole situation. He makes it a joke and says, you know, after he said that, you know, now can I start a song? And he starts talking about the autumn leaves. It was, you know, I don't know what the autumn leaves song was about, but the white defendants, the white, you know, Kyle, them, they all start smiling. What the hell y'all smiling about? What are you smiling about? The person you're defending murdered people. What is funny in this case right now? Thinking about that, looking at that, hearing that, it just gave me when they lynched Black people and they would have parties around it. they would eat. Yes.
What was Billie Holiday's song?
Strange fruit. Yeah.
Hanging from the poppy tree, right?
Yeah.
Autumn leaves.
Yes.
Red, blood on the leaves.
Wow.
Feel it, y'all. When you just said that, I just shut down. Like, what?
You better preach, DJ Exclusive. You better preach, boy.
It gave exactly that. And I couldn't put my finger. I'm like, why is it giving me like, what the hell? Like, it's giving me a bad, eerie feeling as this man is singing that. And he probably sat there, the way that he finished talking about blacks, the way that he finished discussing that statement, and then goes into wanting to sing about autumn leaves. Very, very strange. I don't care what nobody say. This judge has a history of racism in his blood. He's probably seen some things, done some things. The way that he refers to black people as a black, the black, the way that he talks about, just throwing, numbers out there. And, we had one black in the room. It's kind of like that does not, this case right here is so serious. We already see favoritism in the courtroom. And now we're seeing this man. Kyle is a man. I know that they want to still give us, paint him as we're watching him. Look at how meek he looks. They want to do his hair like a little Disney kid. No, this is a man, a young man who killed people and should go to jail for it. Why are we sitting in this courtroom with him every day trying to make sense of what he did when there are two people who can't speak for themselves in this particular moment? There is a judge who is constantly, not only with him, with the people around him, who is constantly using his power to belittle black people and make them as small as possible in this whole case, but say, at least we had one black person in the room. I've done this before. Now, in this next clip, we're going to hear the judge actually speak on the media's criticism of his latest comments. Let's take a look.
The business about people not being identified as victims. How would you like to be put on trial for a crime? And the judge introduced the case to the jury by introducing you as the defendant and the person who is accusing you as the victim. And then throughout the trial, have all the references to the complaining witness as being the victim. Is it so difficult to just use the term complaining witness instead of prejudging what the jury is here to determine as to whether there's a victim and whether there was a crime committed?
The jury is there to to say whether there was a victim, whether there was a crime committed. We know that's how it goes, right? But there were victims. There was a crime committed. I don't know why these statements are coming out of the judge's mouth. We need honesty in these seats. We need, we need people who see color in these seats. Because these type of people, he's trying to make his case as if he doesn't see color. He's trying to make it seem as if the word victim is such an issue, but we need to be honest. Watching this case, being people watching this case, I know the family is hurting. The family of those who were murdered are in pain. There were victims in this case, and the victim is not Kyle. It is not Kyle. It is not Kyle. And this is the same thing that we see in Arbery's case. And with the Arbery case, we're calling it the Arbery case. And I think we're doing that because we want to make sure that people understand that, I mean, he's not on trial, but it's almost as if they are putting him on trial. But I want people to remember his name, because these two men, the murderers, are going to be painted as Kyle Rittenhouse. No matter how we flip it, you guys, it's these white people, when they are being tried, they get this treatment of, I'm going to do the best I can to get you off. And if I can't get you off, the least amount of time that you can get. If a black person were in these positions right now, how would this look? was in the position of Kyle Rittenhouse, how would this look? This wouldn't even go on for this long. There would not be a fight. That man, because could have been 15, would be considered a grown man, would be given maybe 25 to life. And, we would never see, the victim would be the person that black man killed. Period. Period.
Somebody said something in the chat that just said it. Black person wouldn't have even made it to a trial.
Never.
They would have still been waiting because they moved quick as hell on this one. I want y'all to pay attention to that.
Yeah. And this is very disturbing to see this happening in both cases right before our eyes. In the Arbery's case, or in the case of the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, it pains me that the representation is so upset that black pastors are in the room. Are you they don't want black people in the room? We can see that in this case with the jurors. And the fact that they gave just, hey, we're just in the, predominantly possibly white situation. We're going to just throw numbers out there. And if they're white or black, we're not being racist. We're just going to give you that opportunity to make sure you have the best jury possible. When they see your young, meek face and they see that you're white like them, there will be a possibility of justice for you in what you did. You were just having a bad day.
Super quick. So James, I think with that comment that person left, what they might have been talking about, and I don't know for sure, but what they might have been referring to is they probably would have had court out on that street that very night. It didn't make it to, it wouldn't have made it to trial because they would have tried jury executioned, especially with the kind of gun that he was walking around with.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on, that's an open and closed case to them, So
those are big facts, and still to this day, it irks my soul to see the police just drive by this little boy as he's walking there with this assault rifle on his chest. They just drive right by like he's supposed to be out there.
Yeah,
it irks my soul every time I see it.
Yeah, you're talking about the footage, the original footage of Kyle walking and moving, literally walking through the protest, and they're just not giving a damn. Now, the police are supposed to be there to protect and serve, but they only do that with conditions. Let's put an asterisk right there, protect and serve. And it's only going to be those who are looking like them, mostly white, protect and serve those in those community, because in a protest, all black people are the issue. Black people are looters. Black people are dangerous. That black people are thugs. Black people are out there to start division and to start arguments. They're not there to be fighting for their rights. That's what authorities see automatically, and that's to me what this judge is hearing. This white little boy felt like he needed to go and save the world from black people asking for justice. Go ahead, David.
I just wanted to get in because I know I'm figuring we're gonna move on. And I just wanted to say that it's important to highlight too that he's ignoring his own double standard. He's responding to the media's criticism, or just criticism in general, around his decision around the word victim, while he also was willing to allow the victims to be labeled arsonists, looters, and rioters. Mm-hmm. So as long with the caveat, as long as they can be proved to be that. So you can easily prove that they were victims. They literally, by definition, fell victim to Kyle Rittenhouse's gun.
Yes, they died. They were murdered,
and the victims are not on trial here,
and they can't speak for themselves. So the judge just saying who can be victim and who can't be is very strange to me, because like you said, David, which is a great point, by definition, there are victims in this case. But we're going to leave it to some random ass people who are mostly white. And we're going to leave it up to them as they continue to create the narrative for Kyle Rittenhouse. Guys, this is our justice system. And for Black people, the fact that when we heard the judge or the defendants in the Arbery case or the Arbery murder case say Black pastors can't be in the room, and then the judge over here say, you know, there was a Black. I once did it before, and there was a Black, the only Black, and start to sing about autumn leaves. You guys have to know why that shakes up our spirits. We are not free. We being Black people are not free. And when there is a system that we stand before that wants to make sure we are not free, they will make sure we are not free and remind us of our history, of us not being able to even walk outside, be people. It's nasty. So it looks like we got something developing on with Ben. We're going to quickly go over to Ben. Ben, what do we have over there?
Hey, Rebecca and DJ Exclusive. I'm here with Jennifer Mitchell. I noticed her shirt and she said that she came down. She skipped work to come down to the courthouse for this event. Sister Mitchell, I wanted to ask you, what made you skip work? What made you feel so compelled to come down?
Because I have 4 Black young men, and I pray for them every day that because of the color of their skin, that they're not killed. And I would not want another mother to go through what Amar's mom is going through. And I want to be here to support the family. And that's this.
No, we thank you for being here. What are your thoughts about, I see there's a sister over here who is singing spirituals. There was another sister over here who was praying. What do you think about the faith presence and the fact that the defendant's attorney said that they didn't want any more Black pastors down here?
It's just I think that is just horrible. But I am so thankful that God even put it in his heart to say that made us come much closer, join in together as one, because I really feel they're going down. They're going down.
So much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rebecca, I just wanted to get a chance for you all to hear what she was saying and why she felt compelled to come down this morning.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Ben. What she said, she has 4 young men in her life, and she doesn't want them to go. She doesn't want another, Ahmaud Arbery case. And for a mother to talk about that, to lose their child. And I don't know how I would be able to do that, but, the fear, you guys, we're talking about the fear. We just talked about the fear of our everyday lives. We just talked about how we will never feel free. This mother is chained mentally to the idea that her kids may possibly be the next Arbery. They don't want us to be free. They want us to feel like every day we're fighting for our lives. And that's what we are doing every day, fighting for our lives. But like I said before, while we do this, we will stand in solidarity. We will pull up to these events like we're doing right now, like what Ben is doing right now. I'm looking behind him, and hearing the music and starting to see the people fill up the area. I believe that, this is going to, again, have those defendants very shook.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh, these Black people are getting together. These pastors are getting together. One thing about us is even in our moments of when it's the hardest for us, when we're fearing for our lives, we will make sure we come together to make to bring at least some type of love, because we need that in this moment. We still have that fear, but it's one of those things. It's like, remember what we said from the beginning of the year when we first started this show? We were stressed. We were stressed watching the protests. We were stressed with the pandemic. And we were like, God, we don't want to continue to just do this thing of what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. We don't want to keep going through that. But y'all, if we stop living like that, there's not going to be any forward movement for us. So yes, we take a couple of days off, but we can't really be taking days off. Every day is work for us. It really is. It really is. And that's what sucks. But we're,
You know what I just thought about is sort of the juxtaposition of the defense saying, we don't want these Black pastors here, and that they might intimidate the jury. Juxtapose that to January 6th, right, where you just have a mob essentially of white people, and to hear the excuses afterwards of, oh no, I mean they weren't doing anything, it wasn't too crazy, it was, and it's so interesting seeing the use of language of just one Black person sitting in a courtroom, intimidating
Yes.
But a mob of white people storming the U.S. Capitol, I don't know. They're just rabble rousers. They're just messing around. They ain't doing anything crazy.
They weren't doing anything serious. They were just out there having a good time drinking and smoking. That's all.
Yeah. No. It's just
just another day in the Capitol.
It's just another day in the Capitol, and the white murderers who are out there killing folks, they just have bad days. You see, like you said, there's a language that is used when it's white people. A protest, you guys, because what we saw at the Capitol was a terrorist attack. What we saw at the Capitol on January 6th with those people ambushing the Capitol, planning to literally zip tie people, stealing documents, stealing monuments. That was a terrorist attack. That was a domestic terrorist attack by the hands of white people, mostly white people. And for some reason, when we're having a protest, they call it everything but that. Everything but that. And the language will always, that's why I'm like, there's no fairness in the judicial system. I know Ben, would ask me, do you not believe in due process? Ooh, I was about to cuss just now. Hell no. Hell no. No, I do not. And right. I know that was the thing to say, especially a few years ago, because I do believe that there is a process that has to be done. Yes, I do. But I do believe in fairness. Sometimes we got to call a thing. And in this particular case, especially in a judicial system, I do not believe in due process, especially when it's done this way. There is a process that can be done correctly. And what we see happening right now, it's supposed to be due process. Hell no. Hell no. When it comes to Black people, there most likely never due process for us. And we see it so many times. But if we want to say how we're seeing it right now in these two cases. We're seeing it like unfold right before our eyes in these two cases. There is not due process. Yes, there isn't due process. And if y'all want to say this is due process, this is the broken system that is built the way that it's supposed to be, right? To be against Black people being free. Amen. Let's move on to some news while Ben is out there taking care, getting more people to speak and grabbing the news over there. I believe it's in Brunswick, Georgia. I always get that wrong. Brunswick, Georgia, as the case of the Ahmaud Arbery murder case unfolds. So there's other news out today, and I want to talk about young Dolph. I know that's not and it can be a political issue actually, but I want to talk about young Dolph, a 36-year-old rapper who is well loved out of Memphis, Tennessee. He was murdered, gunned down yesterday while getting some treats at his local cookie store. And he was gunned down at the store. This is the same rapper many times who has been shot at in the last few years, has beat death and has had beef with other people, well-known beef with other people, with other rappers like Yo Gotti and Black Youngsta, who are also from his area, street beef. But he was shot down and murdered. And it was almost reminiscent of out of LA, Nipsey Hussle, because in this particular area in Memphis, he's considered like a god, somebody who is well respected, a rapper who owns his own masters, a rapper who is a husband, has 2 kids. Literally his tweet in October, I was looking back at a tweet of his that mentioned him going to the doctor and the doctor telling him that he had anxiety. He said that was the first time he'd ever heard of anxiety, and the doctor telling him to slow down and go to therapy. He said he never heard of that. He never thought of that. He didn't even know what that was. Somebody who was working on himself only to be gunned down. And before we play the clip on his legacy, I want to actually touch on how when Black men are doing better, and I know that his history is coming from the hood, but when Black men are doing better, it's almost as if the hood won't detach that from them. And it sucks. And I don't like when the American media, especially the white media, has a conversation and they'll say, "Oh, look at black on black crime. That's a story. That's something that's always spoken about." But they usually, I don't like when they have the conversation or at the lead of the conversation. But y'all, we got to do better in our communities. We can't be gunning down. We can't be gunning down representation that's changing. Black men doing well. And we're gonna put a push pin in this conversation right now. Ben is getting ready. He has more people with him. Ben, who do we have? Oh, not ready yet. Not ready yet. All right, let me know when we're ready. But in this, like I said, in this particular conversation, I think that it's good to note that there can be Black men who are changing and Black men who are doing good thing, and they may have a history in their hood. We're ready.
Well, to give Ben a sec, let's go ahead and run this clip for Young Dolph.
Okay, go ahead.
The murder of rapper Young Dolph, who was shot and killed at a cookie shop in his hometown of Memphis. The rapper, whose real name was Adolph Thornton Jr., was called an indie rap pioneer by Spotify and was just 36 years old. Thornton collaborated with multiple artists from Rick Ross to Megan Thee Stallion, who reacted to his death by tweeting, "I am so sick right now, I am in disbelief. Praying for his family and friends. Rest in peace to my friend, a true legend, Dolph." For those of us who may not be as familiar with Young Dolph's hits, tell us a little bit about him.
Young Dolph was a father of 2 children. Young Dolph was a husband. Young Dolph was someone who had a huge impact in his community of Memphis. Young Dolph is known in his community as a philanthropist. He did a lot of turkey giveaways for the holiday season every single year. And sadly enough, he was actually back home in Memphis to participate in his annual turkey giveaway. So the tragedy and the irony that he was home doing good for the community, that he was actually gunned down and murdered in his community. As an artist, Young Dolph, as you mentioned, Lindsay, was a pioneer. It is difficult being an independent artist, but Young Dolph had the ability to rise in the charts. He had albums that were Billboard charts. He charted a couple of times with the albums that he had. He worked with some of the most well-known artists of our time. Young Dolph was also a messenger of the community. Hip-hop has always been the message of the community. Hip-hop, through the music, has always told us the impact of our society and the community and what the community was going through. And so the hip-hop community and the music community at large has lost a really, really incredible talent and incredible human being.
We definitely lost an incredible talent, and we'll discuss that further. We lost, I don't like losing Black men. I don't like the idea of losing Black men. Speaking of a Black man that we lost, Ahmaud Arbery. Ben is over there, with the new developments with the news. Ben, what do we have here?
Hey, good morning, Rebecca and DJ Exclusive. We're back here at the courthouse, the Glenn County Courthouse, and we're here with the journalism students from Savannah State University. I'm here with Dr. Brown. Nice. Please tell us what made you bring out all of these. What school is it? I mean, what's your mascot? Tiger. Now, is there like y'all represent the Tigers? Like, y'all got a good team? What? Show me some pride for the Tigers.
Yeah, Tigers.
I was about to say, Rebecca, it started off kind of weak, and I know this is not the kind of event for this, but they're here. Yeah. They've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning. What made you all get up early in the morning to come to this trial?
As mass communication students and Savannah State, our program is Mass Comm, broadly speaking. This is a historic event, and our students are getting some real world experience in terms of telling the story of people here, not just the big wigs, not just, those who are here because, they're trying to make a statement, but there are average people who are here as well. And we want our students to learn best how to tell the stories of people who are overlooked sometimes.
Is there anyone who feels like this experience has really helped you want to be more of a journalist and bring justice through journalism? Anybody who wants to say anything as a student? Don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know somebody here. Like how do you feel being out here this morning?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for us to learn, real hands-on. That's how you learn. And And well, I think it's important for us as an HBCU to be here as well, because you can't ignore, you can't ignore the big issue here. So I think it's important for us. It doesn't matter what color we are, we're an HBCU, but we want to represent and we want to be here and support, not only for a grade or a story, but just to be here.
That's what's up. And they say, I wasn't sure that it was a HBCU. Forgive me for not knowing it was HBCU. I went to HBCU, Bethune-Cookman University, Hell Wildcats. My co-host went to Florida A&M. We'll forgive her for that. But shout out to you guys. Thank you all so much for being here, and good luck with your journalism.
I didn't really laugh at that.
We'll give it back to you, Rebecca and James.
Please do.
We're still here, and thanks. We'll be back.
That boy in the back got something to say, Ben. He was still standing there. He had something to say. But
one of the
anyway, go ahead. How Ben ain't know Savannah State was an HBCU?
Because
like
man, listen. Hold up. Put me back on screen. Listen. I've been going through some things. My mind kind of skipped. I didn't recall that Savannah State was an HBCU. Shame on me, right?
You could have just let that slide. And
solidarity with all HBCUs.
Yeah, solidarity.
And one of their photographers is right here telling me I need to get it together. So I'm going to get it together.
Get it together. Hey, he heard what you said.
I'm out of here. Let me go find some more interviews. Y'all harassing me.
Please do. Thank you so much, Ben, for doing the work. Yes. And, as we did the mention of young Dolph, like I said, as that news continues to develop, I think we should definitely cover that here, because it's more than the conversation of when the media talks about Black on Black crime, but it's really about what's happening in these communities where these rappers who have, grown from that, that lifestyle, but still going back because that's where they are. They don't want to just leave it. They go back, but they're caught up in what's happening as well. So I just love to his wife, love to his children, love to the city of Memphis who's mourning in this moment. And please stop the rumors on the Twitters. Jesus Christ, the rumors on the Twitters is crazy.
Did we get the press release from that? I think one of the officials or somebody put out a press release as well too. About the murder, because apparently Memphis has gotten bad. I actually have a friend that stays in Memphis. Haven't talked in a while, and when we did talk a few days ago, told me he was robbed at gunpoint, going to buy a car. Thought thinking he was going to buy a car. Somebody robbed him, and I'm just like, man, has gotten that bad? He's like, it's just been terrible.
Yeah, I mean the violence in these communities, and we have to understand that it doesn't only it's not only created because Black people are on the streets. There's poverty. You know what I'm saying? There's issues with the area not having, lack of. Yeah. There's so many things that can be put in place in these particular situations. There are guns on the streets, that are given and put in these places to keep these communities down. We can talk about this in so many different ways. And what young Dolph did, I mean, I know he's come from that lifestyle, but he also came back to give back to those communities, and that's what we actually like to see. And so next up on the list, and again, RIP to young Dolph. I played his music all day yesterday. Now, mind you, I've been playing his music because we love Dolph around here. Like I said yesterday, I do. You know what I'm saying? That's in the blood. We be listening to that music. But definitely, if you can, stream his music because he owned all his masters. Let's make sure that he stays.
Especially the sun's starting to break through.
Yeah, he stays, in like Nipsey Hussle. Yeah, relevant. Yes. And his kids can always eat from his work. So next up on what we have, there's so much. Now, next up, Ben. Mm-hmm. We're good. We're going back to Ben over there in Brunswick, Georgia.
Rebecca, friend of the show, Cliff Albright, Black Voters Matter. I saw their bus pull up and I thought he was here, but he's not here. But they are here. Black Voters Matter is here. And I'm here with the state director, Vanika Miller, if you don't come on in the shot. And just talk to us this morning about what made you and Black Voters Matter come down this morning.
So good morning. Thank you for having us on the show. We've been here the entire time. Transformative Justice Coalition is a partner of ours, and also A Better Glen are our local partners in the community. So we've been supporting this effort since last year. And have been here for several days of all the weeks of action when the trial began.
Could you help the people to understand the connection between voting, Black Voters Matter, and this case? How would voting have impacted this case?
Absolutely. And so this flyer that we have here, We are talking about justice beyond the verdict, prosecutorial accountability, transformation of law enforcement practices, and then making sure that we get away from the criminalization of Black men. All of those things contributed to the murder and the killing, the lynching on video of Ahmaud Arbery. And so we don't want to forget those things. We want to make sure that we have accountability. The people who were supposed to enforce the law in this case tried to get away with that, right? And they have not been held accountable for that. The former district attorney is still practicing law, right? Some of the police officers who failed to do their duty are still on the case. And the issues that caused all of those things here in the Brunswick community are still affecting the community writ large. And so we don't want to forget those things. We want to make sure that we bring attention to the systemic injustices that are still occurring here.
Anika Mills, thank you so much for being here and thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Rebecca, I'm going to toss it back to you. It is starting to pick up. There are more people coming in, and
Is
there's
that Rain Down on Me
singing
playing
happening.
in the background?
That's a sister singing. That is a sister in the background singing "Rain Down on Me."
I heard
so
it.
they're having it's a thing out here. I'm tossing it back to you all, but it's a beautiful day, and I think that there's going to be justice here. The people are demanding it.
Oh, I feel it. Thank you. We're going to put that in the atmosphere and we're going to claim it. Hey, we're going to reclaim our time. Shouts out to Maxine Waters. She said that she's out there because she wants to make sure she ends the criminalization of Black men. Okay. Right. In the justice system. Now we know how deep that is. You look at a Black man, he a thug. You look at a newborn Black baby. That is a man that is ready to go out and destroy the communities. That's what the justice system looks at that baby as. We know what happened with Tamir Rice, 12-year-old Tamir Rice, playing with the toy gun. Now we have to tell our babies, we can't get you that gun for Christmas. We can't get you that toy gun for Christmas. You can't we can't do that for you because of that. Our judicial system sucks ass. The worst for Black people. The worst for Black people, period. Wow. But this is good. This is good. I like that we are communing together. We're fellowshipping together. We're making sure that they know, like Mama always says, you're not going to go to school after they done told you that you were a bad kid and you ain't got no family. Like you're not going to school like you ain't got no family. You got family. So make sure you come correct. We will be there to pick you up after as a full family to make sure all your white teachers know that you got family and they will not disrespect you again. So that's what we're doing in this particular case. They will not continue to disrespect and act like Black pastors are an issue. We're coming with all of them. We're coming with all of them. Family is pulling up, period.
Hey, and real quick, somebody asked in the chat, like, how you look at peeps like Bubba being as bad? I don't understand. Because LD, what the only thing they see is the outside. So they see a Black man with a beard, bald head, and they automatically think I'm a threat. I'm a big ass teddy bear, bro.
But I mean,
you're a threat.
But
you're not a teddy bear. Right? You're a threat. You're a threat.
Look at all the years of just the psychology of it all, right? Like to look at somebody like yourself, Bubba, to look at somebody like me, to just see the skin color and just automatically think something is a threat. Like that to me, that blows my mind. I know it affects me too, right? It affects how we see ourselves, right? I can't walk down the street without walking behind somebody, without thinking in my head, oh, I got to get from behind this person because they're going to think I'm trying to run up on them. Like, and that's
right today.
That like every time that happens to me, I think that's crazy. Like I have no intention of doing anything to this person, but I feel like, oh no, I got to make them feel okay because, I know what the perception is here. That's crazy, That's crazy.
And like, and hey, how are y'all? Got to put on the fake assness just so y'all won't think I'm trying to hurt you or nothing. And Tunde, let me ask you this, Tunde.
Yeah,
this is the main question, and everybody knows it's gonna happen. Tunde, have you ever been on the elevator or anywhere else and the white woman clutches her purse closer to her?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And I know Ben has as well too. I'm sure Dwayne has too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Shoot. Like I get around these and then y'all know, like I could have on look the best and get near some white people. They're going to grab their child a little closer. They're going to grab their bags a little closer. They're going to even take their Target cart. Like I'm going to jump into the Target cart and take what's in their Target cart. They're going to pull that a little closer. I I never understand it. But I know with our Black men, it's automatic. It's automatic, you know, that Black men in America are thugs. You're born a thug. You literally are born to kill. And they literally are training killers every day in the army. But Black men are born just like that. Like Black men, you're born, you guys are thugs. You guys are dangerous. You know, you guys are out to do harm. We already got to do 6 jobs. A Black man going to get a job, he has to make sure he tones down his look so that this corporate office or wherever they're trying to be employed doesn't look at them as a thug. Change our inflection in our voice. You know, if you sound like a white person, and that means that you're speaking, I don't even know anymore, because nowadays I can't even say, you know, you're smart. You're sounding like Benjamin Dixon. You know, you're gonna get the part. No, like we can't do that anymore. You know, and it doesn't make you better if you talk like that or not, if you have an accent or not. I mean, Jesus, like, I hate that we have to go through that. I hate that Black men constantly have to go through that. I just hate that for us.
But that's what's so crazy about this Ahmaud Arbery. Like, you know, obviously he's not on trial, but they're obviously trying to make him, you know, make it so that it looks like he's on trial. But that's what blows my mind about that whole scenario, right? Like, just think about literally anybody else of color, or just a white person in that same scenario. There's no way he dies. Like, there, you know, you might question somebody. You might be like, "Hey, what are you doing around here? Let me talk to you." Whatever the case is, but you're not gonna kill him. Like, that to me is like something I can't get out of my brain. Is that if this, you know, if this dude gets off, like, you're what you're basically saying is that you could just run up on anybody who you even suspect, you even think is doing something wrong, and he's in you're worried about him going to an abandoned house, like, you know, or not abandoned house, but a house that was vacated.
Under construction.
There's nobody there, so it's like, well, what is the threat? Like, with no threat, you're saying that you could just gun somebody down because you have the right to, and you know, I don't know how you can overcome that in terms of just the psychology of it all, because that's ingrained in the fabric of what America is, and how you expunge that, how you lift that, is beyond me, you know?
Yeah. And we all have a connection in some way, shape, or form, with how authorities, the judicial system has wronged us in some way, shape, or form in our lifetime, all of us. And we see that mirrored in white people, white patrons every day. Like, when we have to get out, when we have to go outside, we see that mirrored in there. We see that mirrored in our predominantly white corporate job spaces. We see that, like, everywhere we go in your predominantly white community, it's the same thing. They see you all the same. Like, I've shared this story before. I remember as a middle school kid living in my own home. You know, we were able to be home by ourselves at that time. My brother invited his friends over. My neighbor assumed that we were breaking into our own home, called the police on us, had SWAT, and I was going to get the mail. Never forget it, had the helicopters in the sky. And I looked up, then I looked down by my trees, and I saw literally SWAT pointing their gun at me through the trees. Walked up to me slowly, put the gun to my back, told me to walk it back, and called the people in my home to come out. My brothers and their friends came out, and they had us on our knees in the front yard. I was 12. Never got an apology. My father ripped that place. Yeah. Yep. That happened to me because I was living in a predominantly white community at the time. You know, and they called the authorities on me. So it's stuff like that. We grow up with always being looked at no matter what. My dad used to say, don't you go into that school and speak Creole because they're going to treat you different. We already have like these targets on our back for living in this community. You know, it's so much that we have to deal with, y'all, just being Black in America. This alone, we're at the end of our show, and we're going to head into the after party. But just look at this segment alone of the show. This is nothing. This is just literally a tidbit of our lives every single day. When we see a Black man die, you need to know how much that affects us, because that could be Tunde, that could be Bubba, that could be Ben. You know, that could be Dwayne. That could be my dad. And then Black women who are murdered at the hands of authorities. It's forgotten. It's already forgotten and treated crazy when it's a Black man. A Black woman gets nothing. Nothing. This is our lives every single day being Black in America. Y'all, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It was a great show. I felt like it was a great show. I feel like we covered some good shit today. Yeah.
Girl,
yeah.
I'm going to say it. I was on this shit today, girl. Do you hear me?
Listen,
this team was on this shit today.
Listen, Tunde was given what needed to be gave. David, thank you for putting together these stories the way they should. The way they should just fall through. You did that. I did it out of order, and you still rocked with me. We had been on the ground in Brunswick, Georgia. Grateful for that. So grateful for that. And this is what we like to do here. I told you it's going to be Black, blackity, black. Even when we're calling ourselves out, it's going to be Black and it's going to be good. I feel sorry. Look, how did Issa Rae said, I feel sorry for anybody who doesn't F with us because it's a we season right now. It's a we season right now. In that same breath, she also said, she's rooting for everybody Black, and that's what we're doing. We're seeing solidarity today in Brunswick. I'm rooting for everybody Black. I love you guys. Mean it. Let's head over to the after party. Bubba, take us to a break.
Love y'all, mean it, man. Woo! Shout out to being Georgia, Pastor Galloway, everybody again this morning. We appreciate y'all. Oh boy, we gonna go over to that party. Good morning, my sister's in the chat room. Sweet Miss Moochie, I think that's her name. Good morning, Tamika. Love y'all, mean it. Tajay, Todd, Tavares, the family over there. Love y'all, mean it, man. Great goddamn show. We be on that shit today. Y'all make sure y'all go on over to the after party. If you're not, man, patreon.com/likeliternot, patreon.com/the BPD show. Go and get that access to this after party, man. You do not want to miss it. You get good content like this 24/7 all the damn time. All right. Before I let y'all go, if you're not coming to the after party with us, then let me go ahead and give you your affirmation for the day. Your affirmation for the day is, I am choosing to prioritize my mental health. I am choosing to prioritize my mental health. Y'all go be great. Love y'all, mean it. And we will see y'all tomorrow if y'all not at the after party. Love y'all, mean it. Deuces.
Baby, this is your issue. I'm not falling for bullshit.